And in this video, we're going to talk about arranged marriages and love marriages. These are going to be my opinions and my take on these topics. It's not going to be like a universal rule, or I'm not making claims about these. I'm just talking about what I think is ideal for me, what I generally think will work better, and just my opinions about it. And if you're someone who's unmarried, I think it's always a good idea to discover and explore other people's opinions about, these things before you step into something, because maybe you will be able to find one or two points that actually resonate with you that you wish you knew before getting married. So let's go ahead. For me, I'm going to come to the point. I think I prefer arranged marriage over love marriage any day. And I've always been that person since I've been in school. And the reason is pretty simple. Marriage, in my opinion, is not just about romance. I feel like compatibility is equally important as chemistry. And unfortunately, what happens when you fall in love is that you become so blind and you cannot take a neutral, logical decision anymore because you're blinded by your emotions. And that is such an inefficient state of mind to make a decision that is as important as marriage. And on top of that, love is a very volatile emotion. You cannot guarantee that you'll feel loved all the time, or your partner will feel love for you all the time. But at the same time, respect and, let's say, commitment are all things that's equally important as love. So just having love would not suffice. And most of the times what happens is that when you're going for a love marriage, you first fall in love. And then rest of the things you just have to adjust whether you like it or not, because you're so in love. It's going to be so painful for you to not end up with a person that you have to take sometimes an inefficient decision for your life and hope that things work out. But at the same time, with arranged marriages, and the kind of arranged marriages that I'm talking about are not forced arranged marriages. I'm not talking about those arranged marriages where parents decide what's good for their children. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the kind of arranged marriages where you have a say in it, where you are choosing someone that you want to be with. You're arranging your own marriage with, your parents alongside. Well, I am someone who has the freedom to choose my partner. Like, my parents think I would be the best judge when it comes to choosing my partner. In fact, I've proved them really wrong, because it's 25 years and I've never found someone that I wanted to get married to, unfortunately. So it's always the case that if you have the allowance to find a partner, if you have like chill parents, you never end up getting someone, nor do you find someone right. But at the same time, when they say no, or when they don't let you do it, is when you actually find someone to get married to, is what I think it is. But coming back to our topic, with love marriages, generally chemistry is so high, but compatibility is never guaranteed. But at the same time, in arranged marriages, compatibility is very high, but chemistry is not guaranteed. And what I think is, it's really stable. The idea of arranged marriages are very stable compared to love marriages, especially because in arranged marriages, you're sorting out all your materialistic needs. You're assessing and analyzing a person for who they are on the books. All right. So you're ticking off the major criterias about, and especially as marriage is a form of partnership, a long-term partnership, it's almost like deciding your business partner. As you have to think about your lifestyle, you have to think about your children, you have to think about, whether this partner is going to be a good parent. You have a lot of logistical things to sort. It's not just about loving each other. Like, you have taxes to file, you have assets to share. You have so many logistical things to do in a marriage. If there's no compatibility and just chemistry, that's not going to suffice. It's literally the worst thing you can do to get into a marriage, especially out of all the things. And you're not even dating this person. You're literally settling down, spending so much of money on a wedding, and then, actually societally making a vow to be with this person. So it's not a joke. So in my head, it's like, you sort out the person that you want on the books. Objectively, he's right. Now you can see if you fall in love, and if you feel the chemistry, or if you feel attraction to the person. Well, good. Now you can get married happily. Now the thing is, in my case, my parents suck at this job. For them, they want me to find someone because they think they cannot find the kind of person that I am looking for, and I'll be a better judge of a partner for myself. But at the same time, I feel like I'm just too lazy to work on that, and I just cannot. Like, I'm not built for this shit. So I'd rather them find someone for me, but they're just not doing their job. So that's a whole different misery and sorrow in my life. But coming back to this, does dating someone for years promise a lasting marriage? And don't you have to know the person before you get married? Well, to this, what I have to say is that dating someone for years also doesn't promise that the person doesn't change, because as human beings, we're always evolving, we're always changing. Like, in the past 10 years, if you look at me, I have changed so much. So if I would have gotten married like 10 years ago, I'm a completely different person right now. The person that I would have gotten married to 10 years ago might not be like okay with the person that I am right now. And at the same time, the person that I am right now, if I get married right now, and if I change back to the person that I was 10 years back, I don't think that partner will be fine with my change. So it's not so you can never guarantee whether a person will change or not. And there's so many times where people date for like 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, and then finally get married only to have a divorce happen in the next 6 months. Because dating can be very different. Living together is not what I'm talking about. Dating especially can be very different. Recently I met someone, and then she was telling me how she was in a live-in relationship with someone for 4 years, and they were so in love, they were about to get married. On the day of engagement, I kid you not, on the day of engagement, this guy cheated on her with her best friend. Men. So dating and having a long history of live-in relationship, none of these like really guarantee a successful marriage. I'm not even telling you that arranged marriages guarantee a successful marriage. I'm just talking about the probability of it working out more, especially for someone like me who cares about a lot of other aspects and thinks about marriage as a very logistical decision and not just a decision based out of pure attraction. Like, that's how I think about marriage. Can you ever truly know someone without living with them? See, ideally, living with them is always better, is what I think. But if you're a religious person, if you're someone who's got like a different ideology, in that case, all that you can do is sort out all of the important questions and interact with this person. I am someone who would try to like fish out maximum information and understand whether this person is compatible with me intellectually, and if we share a good chemistry and attraction outside of living together. Because if the person has like the mental capacity that I feel like he has, in order to crack situations that is difficult, or to have a good conversation, or to sort things, if they are having a good solution oriented mindset, you kind of like understand these traits when you talk to. At least I'm a good judge of people like that, which is why I'm still single and unmarried, because I see through people so well that it's so sad that I cannot be deluded into thinking someone is nice. Like I just happen to see it through, and I'm very blunt, I'm very direct, so I ask questions and I get it sorted so easily that I barely get to a point where I can even be in love or be deluded. So that's a very sad reality of my life. But coming back to this, can you ever truly know someone without living with them? Well, you can, enough to get married to them. But even if you live with them, you can't be guaranteed you know them enough to get married to them. You get what I'm saying? Because people change, and there's no guarantee for these things. Are parents more wiser or the better person to take a decision? I don't think so. It's your life. Your parents only have limited knowledge about you, even though they're your own parents. You're your own person. There's no one on planet Earth who will know you better than yourself. And if you haven't taken the time to learn about yourself, to be self-aware, to understand your needs and all of that, trust me, you're just getting into trouble. So please don't rush into marriage without learning really well about yourself, your mental capacity, your physical capacity, your interests, your everything, like everything about yourself. Study about yourself. That's literally one of my favorite topics. Like, I can sit and learn about myself and, like dive into everything that I am and listen to things about me, even criticism for that matter, not just the positive things. 24/7, because that's my favorite form of dopamine, is what I realize. So learn about yourself as much as possible so that you can mitigate error as much as possible. Doing anything and everything right still will not guarantee you a successful marriage, like everything else in life. Like, you may get a lottery, you may not get a lottery. At least you'll be happy that you tried your level best. You wouldn't be thinking back and be like, oh, I wish I would have been more careful about this before I ruined my entire life. So all that I'm saying is, these are things that I think you should think about to mitigate the risk of a marriage failure. And I don't think marriage failure as such is a big problem. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But at the same time, as much as it can be trivialized when you talk about it, it's not an easy experience to go through. Marriage failure, especially when you end up having kids and stuff, is not an easy experience to go through. And this is not just between two people. It's between two families. It's, the society is just there to make things worse. So it's not going to be an easy experience at all, which is why I believe you should try to mitigate the risk as much as possible and be careful. It's always better to end up alone and feel lonely and live a life just by yourself than live a life of misery with another person with the wrong partner. Don't forget that. Is attraction necessary in marriage? Of course it is. 101% attraction is important in marriage. And when I say attraction, see, I'm not talking about conventional beauty. Someone who's conventionally pretty or beautiful might not be attractive to you. Or someone who's conventionally handsome might not be attractive to you. At the same time, you might be attracted to someone who's not conventionally good looking. The conventional standards is not what I'm talking about when I talk about attraction. It's about your personal attraction. If you're sharing a personal chemistry or attraction with this person, because marriage, as much as it is, a very logical decision, end of the day, the most important or unique aspect of marriage that separates it from any other kind of partnership would be this attraction and romance and, like physical intimacy. So for that, you have to be attracted to someone. And if you're not attracted to someone before marriage and you believe that with time you will be attracted to them, it's not going to work out. That's not how it works. So make sure you're attracted to this person, that you feel like getting physically intimate with that person when you think about it. It's really important. It's not something that you later on develop. And thinking about it is not a wrong thing. You should at least be able to think about it with this person. My idea of marriage and a partner. See, I don't want to give a blueprint of my idea of a partner and marriage over here so that some random ass on the internet can trick me into being the right partner and, ruin my life. So I don't want to give the blueprint to my heart out there publicly like that. But at the same time, I will give a vague idea, a general idea that everybody should be aware of. And I think ideas that might help other people as well. See, first of all, I think of marriage as a proper partnership. I don't think about marriage as just love and romance, because that's probably going to last 6 months to 1 year to 2 years max, or if you're lucky, 5 years. After a point in time, it's all about tolerating another person. It's as simple as that. It's just tolerating another person. If you don't love this person enough, if this person is not tolerable enough also at the same time, you cannot live with this person once the honeymoon period is over, when you're out of your hormones and when you're out of your, initial roller coaster rides. Especially when you're having kids with them. If you have plans to have kids with them, then that's a whole different ballgame. It's a whole different arena. You will fall sick. And this is the person who's going to look after you. You will have times where you're going to be the worst possible person to exist on planet Earth because of your responsibilities. You won't be in the mood for anything nice. You will be a demon. But this person should tolerate you and you should be able to tolerate their worst days. So for me, marriage is purely about extreme compatibility, having extreme tolerance to them, and also a lot of love. I have a very different idea of what love is. I don't think love is the kind of love that you have for your parents. I'm not sure if you have a good relationship with your parents, but there will be someone that we share a good relationship most of the times, right? If not your parents, maybe someone else in your life, your siblings or your friends or someone. So in that case, the kind of love that you have for someone, I call love, and how I separate infatuation from love is when you want to stay with this person through thick and thin. And that is a huge commitment, but that comes effortlessly when you really love someone. If you think tomorrow if he changes or if he does something really disappointing, if you have a feeling that you can't stick with this person, if you want to, this happens, I'm talking about men and women at the same time. So if you're marrying a woman and then you feel like you like her for the person she is right now, but if there is a change in her life, if she changes tomorrow, you're not going to like that about it, then that's not the kind of relationship that's not love. People that I have loved, I love through seasons. All seasons of their life. They have loved me through all seasons of their life. And that's the kind of love that I think everybody should aim for in a marriage. And if you don't feel that for someone, I don't think, it's love. That is just attraction. And that's not enough. I see marriage as a complete investment. I'm investing my time, I'm investing my life, I'm investing the most important integral parts of my life in this marriage and in this person. And attraction, love, romance are all just logical components of it. Can opposite personalities work? This is intriguing. Because I'll tell you what, I used to think that opposite personalities work really well as long as both the parties are mature enough and intellectually capable enough to be receptive of differences. People who are low IQ unfortunately do not possess the ability to accept differences. Depends on your intellectual capacity and your emotional intelligence, both IQ and EQ, because these two things do decide whether you're going to be really receptive of differences and whether you'll see it as a positive thing or a negative thing. So it depends on person to person is what I'm trying to say. Is marriage finding the right person? I don't think there's a right person out there. I really don't think there's a right person. I don't think that there's this one soulmate or whatever. I don't believe in soulmates and stuff. I believe in soulmates as, people that you might have met in previous realms, If there's a person out there who is ready to work to make it right, that's the right person. Now, chase love or chase partnership? I think I answered. Of course, partnership, because love will fade. Love is volatile. It'll just disappear one fine day. It might disappear, it might not disappear. You never know. But at the same time, to be on the safer side, partnership is 101% the foundation of marriage. Would you marry someone you deeply loved if your parents strongly opposed it? I don't think so. I won't marry them until my parents agree to it. And probably I will keep explaining why this is important to me, and I'll probably keep making them understand how integral this is to me and why I think this is right. And if they have a logical counter, I don't think I would ever get married to this person. And I'd be like, I'd rather stay single and heartbroken than be in a marriage that my parents absolutely cannot digest. But at the same time, I will do my best. And I don't think like my parents will have a problem also at that point in time, because they would not want me to be sitting at home, not being able to like live a life or breathe because I'm that heartbroken. Like, I don't think parents should be that stubborn in the first place, because if your children's happiness is what matters to you ultimately, then that should be the only thing that matters to you. That should be your priority. So that's how I think about how it should be, because if that's how it'll be if your parents actually love you unconditionally. So I'm guessing my parents are like that anyway. We're just gonna hope for the best. Would you marry someone your parents absolutely adored if you didn't feel any attraction? Never. Not in a million years will I do that. What the hell? Is it riskier to marry someone you know well or someone you're still getting to know? Definitely to get married to someone who you know well, because that again mitigates the risks. But yeah, even though it doesn't completely eliminate risk, it does mitigate it. So that's good enough. Are arranged marriages successful because they're happier or because people are less likely to leave? I really think it's mostly successful because, I mean, there is a chance it's successful because, as I told you, it's a logical decision. So even when love fades and even when things don't work out, there are lots of things that actually work out. But in love marriages, when love fails, it's mostly like nothing else that actually is there to make it work. But at the same time, 50% of it might also be because of the financial investment, in the form of wedding, dowry and all of that. Societal pressure and stuff like that. Is staying married always a sign of a successful marriage? Not at all. I've seen so many married people who have the worst kind of marriages, who are like, both the parties are just sleeping with random people. Sometimes they know about it. Sometimes it's not even, I'm not talking about open relationships. I'm talking about relationships which is completely shattered, where both the parties are aware of being cheated on or are cheating on each other and are aware of it, are not happy with it, but at the same time just continues the relationship just for societal validation, and sometimes even for like actual problems like having kids and not to ruin the lives of their kids. So marriage, just because it sustains, just because you're not getting a divorce, doesn't mean it's a successful marriage at all. In fact, sometimes it's worse than getting a divorce. Some marriages are a living hell. Would you rather marry after 6 months of intentional conversations or after 6 years of casual dating? Of course, after 6 months of intentional conversations. What the hell is casual dating? What is it even bringing to the table? Would you rather trust your instincts or your parents' instincts? Of course, my instincts. It's my life. I am choosing the partner. They're not going to live with my partner. They're not the ones who are getting married. I'm the one who's getting married, and I'm very different from my parents. Each one of us are very different from our parents. We're not living the same life our parents are living. Even if we share a lot of traits, even if we share the same personality or whatever it is, we're not living the same lives. We're living in a completely different era. We cannot have the same blueprint that they had. That was it. Let me know what you guys think about all of these questions. If there's something that you completely disagree to, or if you have an opposing belief, I would really like to know, because I'm also unmarried. I always like exploring other people's ideas. So please feel free and drop it down in the comments, and also follow me on my Instagram page, where you get to be a part of my community and you can drop in these questions. If you enjoy my content, do make sure you subscribe, and that's it. Bye.